respected dreamers, warriors of change, and those brave souls who wake up every day feeling the weight of distraction and fear pressing on your chest. Listen closely. Today, I want to speak to the part of you that feels restless, uncertain, and quietly terrified of failing. Because deep down, you already know that the life you long for, the life that excites you, the life where your potential finally meets reality, is waiting on the other side of focus, discipline, and courage. And yet, here you are, stuck in loops of hesitation, letting your fears whisper louder than your dreams. I want to tell you something that might shake you a little, but in the best possible way. The reason you're not living at your full potential, it isn't your talent, it isn't your education, it isn't even your opportunities, it's your mind. Not the mind you see in the mirror. Your brain, the instrument you were born with, has been conditioned, trained, and programmed for survival, for comfort, for safety. And in that programming, it has learned to fear change, fear failure, fear the unknown, and worst of all, it has learned to doubt you. Let me take you back to a story from my own journey. Years ago, I was sitting in a small, dimly lit room, staring at a whiteboard filled with dreams I had written down, the life I wanted, the impact I wanted to make, the freedom I craved. But no matter how much I wanted it, I kept making the same excuses: not enough time, not enough money, not enough clarity. My mind was a battlefield, torn between desire and doubt. And then, in that moment of frustration, I realized something that changed everything. The battle wasn't outside of me, it was inside of me. My mind was cluttered, unfocused, and untrained. My thoughts were scattered, arrows, my fears were anchors, and my dreams were floating just out of reach. That was the moment I discovered inner size, a practice, a discipline, a way of exercising the most powerful muscle you own, your mind. Just like your body needs movement to grow stronger, your mind needs intentional daily exercises to sharpen focus, release fear, and rewire itself for the life you truly desire. And here's the truth that most people never hear. Fear isn't something to fight against, it's something to release. Distraction isn't a problem, it's a signal. And the power you're searching for has been inside you all along. Think about the times you've held yourself back. Not because the world said no, not because luck wasn't on your side, but because you let your mind convince you that you weren't ready, that you weren't enough, that it was too risky. That hesitation, that self-doubt, it's not a reflection of your potential, it's a reflection of untrained focus, a mind that hasn't been exercised to filter the noise and amplify the signal of your life. And here's the beautiful part. Just like any muscle in your body, your mind can be trained. It can learn to let go of fear as effortlessly as you release tension in your shoulders. It can learn to focus with laser precision as naturally as a runner finds rhythm in their stride. You don't have to be born with perfect focus, courage, or clarity. You only have to practice it every single day, intentionally with heart. Imagine waking up tomorrow with the ability to dismiss the fears that haunt you, to silence the distractions that fragment your attention, to truly command your thoughts and align them with the life you're meant to lead. Imagine moving through your day with the power to create rather than react, to focus rather than drift, to act rather than hesitate. That life isn't a fantasy, it's waiting for you on the other side of inner size. So today, I invite you to take a step into that practice. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when the timing feels perfect. Today, right now. Because the moment you commit to exercising your mind, the moment you decide to train it as fiercely as you would your body, something shifts. The noise starts to fade, the fear begins to dissolve, and your focus, that sharp, unwavering focus, becomes the compass guiding you to the life you've always imagined. Now let's dive deeper, because mastering your mind isn't about quick fixes or motivational bursts that fade in a few hours. It's about building a foundation so strong that fear doesn't just whisper, it becomes inaudible. One of the most powerful lessons I learned on this journey is that fear is not the enemy, avoidance is. You see, fear is inevitable. It will always appear when you're about to grow, when you're about to step outside the comfort of what's familiar. But when you confront it, when you practice releasing it instead of reacting to it, fear transforms from a barrier into a signal. It tells you you're on the edge of your own expansion. I remember a time when I had an opportunity that could have changed everything for me, but the fear of failure almost stopped me cold. My mind screamed, what if you fail? What if people judge you? What if it doesn't work? Every logical argument my brain presented felt like a solid wall. And yet, I had learned the inner size of focusing on possibility rather than probability, of training my thoughts to act as allies instead of saboteurs. I took a deep breath, acknowledged the fear, and then released it, not by ignoring it, but by choosing to move forward anyway. And the result? The opportunity became a turning point in my life, a door I never would have opened if I had let fear win. That's the essence of inner size, fixing your focus and releasing your fears. It's about learning to recognize the voice of doubt and choosing a different voice, the voice of clarity, courage, and purpose. And it's not something that happens overnight. It requires small, deliberate actions every single day. It might be 5 minutes of visualization in the morning, imagining the life you want as vividly as you can. It might be journaling to identify the fears that are holding you back. It might be mindfulness practices that train your attention like a lens, sharpening your focus on what truly matters. Every repetition, every conscious choice is rewiring your brain, building the mental muscle you need to thrive. Let me tell you another story. I met a young entrepreneur years ago who was brilliant but paralyzed by fear. He had the ideas, the drive, the skills, but his mind was a battlefield. Every day he would plan, dream, and then stop himself with what if thinking. I shared with him the concept of inner size, and I challenged him to commit to 5 minutes a day of mental training, visualizing his goals, confronting his fears on paper, and practicing focus exercises to silence the mental chatter. Within weeks, his clarity improved, his confidence strengthened, and soon the actions that had felt impossible became inevitable. He didn't just face fear, he released it step by step, rewiring his mind to support his vision instead of sabotage it. Here's a truth most people don't realize. Your brain is like clay. You can sculpt it, mold it, train it, but only if you consistently practice the exercises that matter. Distraction, doubt, and fear have been your old patterns. They're automatic because you've practiced them for years without realizing it. Inner size is about creating new patterns, ones that serve your dreams, not undermine them. You start small, focus on tiny wins, release one fear at a time, and suddenly your mind becomes a powerhouse of clarity and courage. Think about this for a moment. Every great life you admire, every success story you've been inspired by, began with mastery of the mind. They all practiced inner size, consciously or unconsciously, long before they achieved their dreams. They trained their focus to see opportunities, their courage to act despite fear, and their persistence to continue when most would give up. And the good news? You can do the exact same thing. The tools are within your reach. The war is within your control. The only thing standing between you and your next breakthrough is the choice to exercise your mind as intentionally as you exercise your body. Now, let's go even deeper, because mastering your mind is not just about resisting fear or sharpening focus. It's about transforming the very way you see yourself and your life. You see, most of us go through life reacting to circumstances, reacting to setbacks, reacting to the opinions of others. And in that reaction, we give our power away. But inner size teaches you to become proactive, to take command of your thoughts before they take command of you. It's the difference between drifting through life and steering it with precision, with purpose, with clarity. I want you to think about your day today. How often did your mind wander? How often did fear whisper, "You can't do this," or doubt murmur, "Maybe it's too late"? Now imagine if every time that happened, you had a tool to release it instantly. A mental exercise that cuts through the noise, sharpens your focus, and reconnects you with your true potential. That's what inner size is. It's not just thinking positively, it's training your brain to operate differently, to respond differently, to live differently. Let me share another story. I once coached a woman who was terrified of public speaking. The fear was so intense that she would physically shake, her mind blank, her confidence evaporating the moment she stepped in front of an audience. But she committed to inner size, daily exercises to visualize success, confront her fear, and focus her attention on what she could control. At first, it was uncomfortable, even painful. But over time, the fear began to lose its grip. She didn't eliminate it completely. Fear is part of being human. But she learned to release it, to use it as energy rather than a barrier. And the result? She became one of the most compelling speakers I've ever seen, inspiring audiences, commanding attention, and living a life that once felt impossible. This is the key. Fear loses power only when you face it consistently and intentionally. Focus gains power only when you practice it repeatedly and deliberately. And the transformation you're seeking, the clarity, the courage, the freedom, emerges only when you combine the two. That is the essence of inner size, fixing your focus, releasing your fears, and building a mind capable of achieving anything you dare to imagine. And here's something most people don't realize. The moments of fear, distraction, or self-doubt are actually gifts. Strange as it sounds, they are indicators, markers showing you exactly where growth is required. They are signals that your mind is encountering the edge of your comfort zone, the exact place where transformation begins. So instead of avoiding fear, instead of letting distraction control you, embrace it. Practice releasing it. Train your focus on the life you want, and watch as your mind begins to bend reality in your favor. Imagine walking through your day fully present, fully focused, fully aligned with your goals. Imagine the fear that once paralyzed you now serving as a guidepost, showing you where to stretch, where to grow, where to act. Imagine the clarity that emerges when your mind is no longer scattered, no longer cluttered, no longer sabotaging your own success. That's not a distant dream. That's the outcome of inner size, the result of committing to your mental fitness every single day, without exception. And the most powerful thing? It doesn't require external validation. It doesn't require approval. It doesn't require perfect conditions. The only requirement is your commitment, your willingness to show up, and your courage to practice the exercises that rewire your mind. When you do, your life doesn't just change, it transforms in ways you didn't even know were possible. Now let's bring it all together, because this is where transformation moves from theory into reality. Inner size is not just a practice, it is a lifestyle, a discipline, a way of living that ensures your mind becomes your greatest ally instead of your greatest obstacle. The truth is, you cannot control every circumstance in life, but you can control how your mind responds. You can choose focus over distraction, courage over fear, clarity over confusion. And once you make that choice, consistently, daily, intentionally, everything begins to shift. Think about the person you've always wanted to become. Not the version of you who dreams quietly in the dark hoping for change. I'm talking about the version of you who wakes up with clarity, who moves with purpose, who faces fear without flinching, who acts even when the path is uncertain. That person is not imaginary. That person already exists inside you. Inner size is the key to unlocking that version of yourself, to releasing the doubts, the distractions, and the fears that have been holding you back. Let me tell you one last story. I met a man who had suffered major setbacks, financial losses, failed ventures, personal disappointments. He was exhausted, defeated, convinced that his best days were behind him. But then he began practicing inner size. He dedicated himself to daily mental exercises, focusing on what he could control, releasing the fears that kept him stuck, and visualizing the life he wanted with unwavering clarity. Months passed, slowly but surely the change became undeniable. Opportunities appeared, confidence returned, and his life began to reflect the person he was becoming on the inside. He didn't just recover, he transformed. And the most profound part? He realized that all along the power to change his life had been inside him. The only thing that had to change was his mind. This is the message I want you to take with you today. Fear is natural, distraction is inevitable, but they do not define you. You define you. Your thoughts, your focus, your courage. These are the tools that build the life you deserve. Every day you practice inner size, you are choosing growth over stagnation, action over hesitation, and mastery over mediocrity. You are taking the most important step toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. So, I ask you now, will you commit? Will you begin today, in this very moment, to train your mind as deliberately as you train your body? Will you face your fears, release the doubts, and sharpen your focus until your mind becomes your greatest ally? The choice is yours, and the time is now, because the life you've been waiting for, the life full of clarity, courage, and freedom, is not out there somewhere. It is waiting inside you, ready to be unlocked through the power of inner size. Every day you delay, every day you hesitate, is a day lost to fear and distraction. But every day you practice, every day you focus, every day you release what holds you back, is a why gain toward the life you were meant to lead. The journey is not easy. Nothing worth achieving ever is, but it is simple. Simple because the principles are clear, and simple because the power is already inside you. You just have to exercise it. And as you take this journey, remember this: your mind is the most powerful instrument you will ever own. Treat it with care, train it with discipline, feed it with courage, and watch as your focus becomes unstoppable, your fears dissolve, and your life transforms into the extraordinary existence you were always capable of living. Respected dreamer, hear me now. Everything I've shared with you, every story, every lesson, every truth, comes down to one undeniable fact. The power to change your life is not out there, it's in here. inside your mind, inside your focus, inside the courage you are capable of summoning every single day. Inner size is not just a practice, it is a promise you make to yourself. A promise that you will no longer be a passive participant in your own life. Picture your life 6 months from now, 1 year from now, a decade from now. Will it be the same life, repeating the same fears, the same distractions, the same hesitations? Or will it be a life transformed, sculpted by the deliberate exercises of your mind, sharpened by clarity and powered by courage? That future isn't a matter of luck, it's a matter of choice. And that choice begins today, in this very moment, with a single commitment: to fix your focus. Release your fears and exercise your mind as intentionally as you exercise your body. So take a deep breath, feel it, know that the fear you feel is temporary, the distraction you face is temporary, and the doubts that linger are temporary. What is permanent, what is unstoppable, is the power of a trained mind, a disciplined mind, a mind that refuses to settle for anything less than extraordinary. That power is yours right now, waiting for you to awaken it, harness it, and use it to create the life you were born to live. Respected dreamer, today is not just another day. Today is a turning point. Today is the moment you decide that fear will no longer dictate your choices, that distraction will no longer control your attention, and that hesitation will no longer define your path. Today is the day you step fully into inner size, and with it, step fully into your power, your potential, and your destiny. The life you desire, the life you deserve, the life that has been waiting for you all along. It begins with your mind. Exercise it, train it, release the fears that hold you back, sharpen your focus, and watch as everything you've ever dreamed of begins to unfold before you, one intentional thought at a time. Because the truth is simple yet profound: your mind is your most powerful tool. Fear is optional. Focus is a choice. And your life, the extraordinary, limitless, remarkable life you were always meant to live, is entirely in your hands. The question now is not whether you can change. The question is, will you?